Alright, Shalom. I'm the brother Tasiyat, coming back with another video. But before I start off, I would like to give all praises and the highest honor to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Kakadash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akyam across this world who are spreading this knowledge and truth and sincerity. And Shalom to the few sincere brothers and sisters out there who are also listening. And may the election be upon your households. God Shalom. So, hey, Shalom Makiao, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Karash Bakata. And like you heard me say, may the election be upon your household. That is the good election that you want to be part of, you know. That is the election of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that is going to make you part of, you know, basically being saved. But you don't want to be part of the election of the military draft that is about to happen. Because in America, like the elder Amalan Gabar went into, they are gonna make it mandatory by the end of this year, man, in December 2026, for a military draft. Okay, so I believe from the age 18 until 25 or until 45, somewhere I read it also, you're gonna be drafted to fight for their military, you know, and it's gonna be made automatically mandatory. In Holland, we have also a draft, but it's so-called on pause. It's like on hold. It's inactive right now. So they didn't I shouldn't take it away. They just put it on inactive. You see? So that means that whenever they see fit, they can activate it again. And then also here there will be a military draft happening. You know, you might receive a letter in your mailbox, like such and such is the case. We are at war, so we have therefore selected you to fight for this country in the name of the King Alexander. This, that, and the third. You know, so this is about to happen, and it's gonna happen. Okay, it's not a question of if. Okay, it's when. Now in America, it's gonna be in December, like they say. You know, supposedly. So right now they are preparing for those drafts. All right, just like how you have preseason, okay, for your sports. Let's say you play soccer, right, or American football. You know, you always have a preseason wherein you are preparing yourself for the upcoming season, right? To be fit, to be as fit as possible. You know. So they are right now in their so-called preseason, preparing everything for that competition to come, for that battle to come, you know? Or like when you have a match, you're not just gonna go into the match without a warming up, you know? You're gonna warm yourself up, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, okay? So that whole preparation, it has to happen, you know, for a good performance. So it might seem like it takes a long time, you know? They're always saying, yeah, by the end of this month, we're gonna do this and this and that and implement this law. And then when it's the end of the month, they postpone it. They be like, yeah, we run into some miscalculations. Now we're gonna postpone it to next year, something like that. It doesn't matter. Still, they are busy with their preparation, you know, for what is to come. So, speaking about preparation, okay, we also have to prepare ourselves for these things that will happen on this planet Earth, man. Okay. So let me read the scripture here. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. Okay, you gotta prepare yourself. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Because there are gonna come a lot of evil things upon this planet Earth, man. Famine, which means hunger, you know, shortcomings of food, of drinking water. They're gonna come pestilences, so diseases, man. You're gonna have demons, literally demons, roaming on the streets. You know, you're gonna have gangs of people robbing each other from their food. You know, robbing, breaking in each other's houses. You name it, man. Okay, the all hell is about to break loose, man. So we gotta prepare ourselves. And it says that in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So that means a pilgrim is somebody that doesn't have one house. He has to go from place to place. Okay? So it's logic, man. If you live in the city, It's not gonna be safe in the city, man. When all hell breaks loose, man, people are just gonna try to bust in your houses, for example. So whatever you do, make sure that you are prepared. Okay, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now, spiritually, we are preparing ourselves by getting as much as possible knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, like Isaiah 33:6 shows us that it's gonna keep us stable in the times to come. Okay, and physically, you might prepare like a backpack or something with some food, some drink, some drink in it. Water. You know, maybe who knows, something to start the fire with. So when shit hits the fan, you have like some backpack that you can take and just go. Most likely you won't even be in the case that you can use that backpack. You don't know where you're gonna be when things are about to get hectic. You know, the military in your country, the government can just decide from one day to the next day, like, okay, today we're gonna implement a lockdown because this, that, and the third threat is coming from this country, and we gotta have a lockdown. Boom. Now all of a sudden you cannot go outside of your house anymore. You cannot go to the street. You cannot be on the street anymore. Nothing. So what if you decided to not do some groceries? This day. Your fridge is almost empty, but you decided, like, you know what? Let me do groceries tomorrow, and then boom, the lockdown comes. Now you're gonna be stressing about your food, about your water, this, that, and the third, your safety. So people that are not with Yahweh Bashim Yashai, they are gonna be in fucked up situations, man. But people that do follow Yahweh Bashim Yashai, okay, the Israelites that follow the Lord, we might have similar situations, but still at the end, the Most High is gonna take care of us, man. Maybe there's a neighbor that gives you some of their food or drinking water, or maybe you who knows, man, you have a car outside and the door is open and it says, take food, okay, or take drink, or man, all these things can happen, when you are with Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Anything is possible, you see. So here, let me go to the book of Joel chapter 3. Let me read verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shabbat. It says Yehoshaphat, but it's Yahweh Shabbat, which means Yahweh's judgment. Okay, so Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to gather all the nations for that war. And this is going to be in the Middle East, as you can already see happening. So if nations are going to be gathered, and they got to gather their troops, how they're gonna put their troops there? By having people in the military, right? By drafting, So if they need more soldiers, they just gonna automatically draft people, man. They don't care about your background or who you are, They be like, hey, you gotta fight for your country, otherwise this consequence is gonna come, Otherwise you're gonna lose your income. Otherwise you're gonna lose your job. You're gonna lose your house. You're gonna lose this, that, and the third. They might threaten you even. Okay, so for these nations to gather their military might, they're gonna have drafts, like it's gonna happen in America, like that like can happen, and will happen in Holland. You see, like will happen in the country that you are living. Just because you don't see it happening right now doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. Okay. So outside of the military, right now you have so much technology. They don't even need foot soldiers, man. They can just use drones. They can use their missiles, and eventually, they will use Slovakia. Oh yeah, they also can use their robot dogs. Like in China, they have robot dogs. Crazy, man, shooting robot dogs. But they can eventually they're gonna use the ICBM, okay, the intercontinental ballistic missiles. So why would you need soldiers if you can just blast a bomb and kill everything, man? But still, it's gonna be a battle, But only this time, it's not gonna be like back in the days where people are fighting with swords, clean. You hear crazy sounds of swords coming against each other and shields blocking a sword, and people dropping dead in the midst of a fight, you know, like Isaiah chapter 9 and 5 shows you. This time it's gonna be with burning of fire, man. Those missiles. Okay? So war is coming. Don't think like I don't really see the effect of it right now. I can just do my daily thing. I can just go to my job. Nothing really happens. You know? Don't be fooled by that, man. Don't be fooled. All of a sudden it can just switch. You know? So it says here, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. So for what these nations have done unto us, Yahweh Bashim Yashai is going to judge them in the Middle East. That's why you see Palestine being bombarded the whole time by these fake Israeli, by these Israeli people actually, okay? Because they have also touched us, man. The apple of the eye of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. And we don't care about these Palestinians because they don't belong in the land anyway. Okay, it's promised unto us, not unto them. You see, it says, "Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." That's what they have been doing. So I'm gonna jump to Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles: prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near." Okay, so they're gonna, have to, basically increase in number in the military and make everybody, prepared, man, for that war. That's why they're gonna make that draft mandatory, of course, man. Because now it's not gonna be a decision like, okay, I don't want to join or I can't join, but this, that, and the third. No. They need you because they see other countries are also preparing themselves, So it says here, and for the brothers, man, in the United States, in America, Yahweh Tasa, of course, is gonna be good with them. If they might be drafted, I don't know what it's gonna be like, but Yahweh Bashim Yashai is of course gonna be with you. And there's already brothers in GMS, Great Millstone, that have been in the army, have been seeing people dropping dead left and right. You see, so some already have a war experience. Others might not have it, from the age from 18 and upward. So it doesn't matter what's gonna happen. Yahweh Bashim Yashai is gonna be with those brothers, man. So also for us, man, don't matter in which country you are, Holland, Belgium, France, England, okay, Germany. If there's a draft in your country and you follow Yahweh Bashim Yashai, you don't have to be afraid, man. Okay, if you gotta go to a FEMA camps, don't matter, man. Yahweh Bashim Yashai is gonna be with you. Some of the elect are gonna die as martyrs for the sake of Yahweh Shai. It don't matter, man. You still gotta hold on to your faith until death, basically. The Most High, He can just, take away your spirit right before somebody wants to so-called torture you or wants to shoot you. The Most High takes away your spirit. You feel nothing, no pain, nothing. And now you have rest. Or the Most High can, if you are part of the 144,000, the prophets, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard. Okay, when these military gonna come with their tanks, with their guns pointing towards you, flamethrowers, you name it, man, crazy weapons, drones, everything pointing towards you. Yeah, you was the one that was preaching against the government, right? This, that, and the third. Now what? They loading their gun, ready to shoot you. In a moment like that, the Most High can give you that spiritual power, and it will give His men the spiritual powers to fight back, man. Bullets bouncing off your body. Flamethrower don't do shit. Even your clothing is not even burning from those things. Okay, it might seem far-fetched, but those things are coming, man. Shooting laser, shooting fire out of your own hand. The scriptures speak about those type of powers, man. Okay, Habakkuk chapter 3 chapter 3 and 4, I believe, speaks about the horn of his hand, which goes into rays of light, man. Laser beams, shooting out of your hand. So we're gonna have spiritual powers to fight. You see, most time might make brothers be drafted in the military, and when they have to fight, the Most High might give them a form of spiritual power right there and then, man. You know, they got to run from the enemy. You know, and they are in the plain sight. They have drones, everything, but the drones cannot see the brother. You know, normally you can have that heat sensor where you can spot somebody, but now the monster can just hijack that thing, and the angel can just hijack it and make it as if you are not there. Meanwhile, you are literally sitting there in the bushes. The drone is over you, but it doesn't detect you. The monster can do anything, of course. Okay, so it doesn't matter who's gonna be drafted, what's gonna happen, this, that, or the third. Okay, just stay faithful to Yahweh Bashim Yashai. So let me finish this verse, and then I'm gonna close it off. So Joel chapter 3 verse 9. Proclaim this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, okay, to the Middle East. That's where they're gonna fight at World War III. And eventually America is gonna be totally destroyed by nuclear fire. Okay, the land of Israel also. It says here, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. So a plowshare and a pruning hook are instruments for agriculture, so for farming the land, you know, for food. Okay, so what is happening right now? The finances of all these agricultural things are now being spent on military things. Okay, swords, weapons. Like Holland is also spending millions upon the military, and they're gonna donate, I believe, in the Dutch we would say 3 miljard. So that's like, I believe in the English it's like 3 billion. Okay, to Ukraine every year for their so-called protection. Okay, Donald Trump stated that the NATO needs to spend 5% on war equipment, things like that, instead of 1% or something like that. So the finances are going up, man, more towards the war. Okay, and it's logic, man. It's logical. You gotta so-called protect your country, right? So that's why these people be like, nah, man, we gotta invest more in the military. Okay, so it says, let the weak say, I am strong. So who are the weak? The weaker nations, that the smaller so-called nations, can now say that they are strong. Why? Because they also have nuclear power, man. Okay, they have nuclear bombs. You see? Now America doesn't like it that Iran has that capability also for the nuclear bombs. You see? So America is cooked, man. To be honest, America's cooked, man. Okay, like I said in my previous video, the Carmanians in the Dragons of Arabia, you know, which the Carmanians are the people from Iran. Dragons of Arabia, of course, the Arabian people, okay, the people from Yemen, etc. They're already fighting, man, with the Assyrians, okay, which are symbolically these Edomites, you know, and they're gonna be winning, okay. These Iranians, Arabians, they're gonna be on the winning side, all right, and eventually Europe, you know, is gonna have to side with Russia and with the BRICS countries, okay, for out of protection, and they're gonna, you know, part their ways with America. So these are all things that will happen, man, and you can see it clearly happening already around you, man. You just gotta keep your eyes open, you know, watch news articles here, watch news videos here and there, you know, watch some news articles, keep on watching videos of brothers, you know, to see what is the latest news, and we will see what happens, man. It's not just about if it happened, if it will happen. It's about when it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen very soon, very soon. So Yahweh Ratazah, which means Lord willing. This was edifying, and with that, I want to give all praises and the highest honor to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akiyam across this world, who are spreading his knowledge and truth and sincerity. And shalom to the few sincere brothers and sisters out there who are also listening, and may the election be upon your households. So shalom, also shalom, GMS, exalt the Most High, 9948, shalom, shalom.